This is Colin Digits. I'm here with the Digitsclub. I got Ivares here from Rosepad, one of the new Digitsclub partners. Welcome. I'm very excited to have you here. And I look forward to exploring Rosepad with you because we have seen the changes you guys have been implementing. It's all basically getting ready for the big exposure. Could you give us a little bit of an introduction first about yourself and what you do at Rosepad?
Yes, so I'll start with myself. I'm in crypto since 2016, and in 2017-18, I invested about more than 100 ICOs, and I was part of venture capital. So I have a lot of experience to investing in projects, and 2019 kind of took a break because of the market, and 2020 came back, and I always wanted to build something of my own. So that's when I thought the Launchpad would be a perfect idea for me because I like to do the research and also have a PhD actually in the research background in data analysis.
Okay.
So yeah, I approached some of the old friends from venture capital and a couple were interested, and that's how the idea came to be. It started last year, November, with the idea. Then December we'll build a website and just took it from there.
And how did it work up until now, right? Because we see that the PAD website is live. You have some NFTs, right, as well incorporated. What has basically been your runway for the last couple of months, and what do you plan to do in like the next couple of months?
Yeah, so we've been building on our own resources for the last few months. And after the beginning, we decided to raise the money with a kind of unique way by doing the minting of NFTs, which we will later incorporate as a utility NFT inside the Launchpad. So we were busy with NFTs in around February, March with the artwork and then building the minting website contracts and doing the marketing of NFTs themselves. And we did a minting last month. We sold out 1,800 NFTs, was 100 to 150 rows per each. And since last month, we started focusing on Launchpad, talking to VCs, getting incubated and starting the marketing campaigns. Yes.
And what would basically be the timeline? Because obviously there's a lot of prep work that goes in basically pushing your Launchpad live. You did the NFT mint. What can users or potential investors expect from Rosepad? Because the market right now is shit, right? It's quite bearish. I assume that you, just like every other Launchpad, is having a hard time selecting projects. What do you think about that?
Yeah, so we finished the design of the Launchpad completely a month ago. And we incorporated the front end. We have one full-time developer as a part of core team and hired 2 other developers. So we're done with the front end and design and now working on the smart contract development. And we plan to launch maybe end of next month. But again, like you said, we're not in the rush because of the market conditions. And at this stage, we're also focusing of making our community larger and talking to multiple VCs for the fundraising and they started pushing the articles about the Launchpad, about the tiers, about all that stuff. So yeah, also contacting the other projects regarding the launching on our platform. And yeah, the market is difficult, but the Oasis itself is the exciting blockchain that's new.
Right. So that's also the big opportunity. Let me tie in on that, right? Because I understand the market is bearish. There's not much to say. You guys are working, right? And that is, for at least the investor point of view, maybe a boring part, but it is a very important part that the work is getting done. Why specifically the choice for Oasis?
Yes, so Oasis actually is a kind of upcoming layer 1 privacy-enabled blockchain. And they have very strong backers, including Binance, Coinbase, Horowitz, and Pantera, all the biggest VCs. And they launched the smart contracts last year, I think November. So it's kind of a new project. So I invested 2018 as a kind of seed investor. I've been following this project for a long time. And I believe myself. Yes, in Oasis.
Oh,
So
okay.
yes, I've been a holder of Oasis,
Yeah, yeah,
and
fanboy.
so yeah, yeah, exactly. So that's how the first idea came to be,
Makes sense.
because I really like the project. And I think the main selling point is that it's a privacy-enabled blockchain. So they will have like multiple paradigms, kind of in similar way as Polkadot have parachains. And the first paradigm is launched as EVM compatible, so it's easier to build. And now the next paradigm will be Cypher, which is privacy enabled. So this Cypher paradigm will enable to build lots of projects that focusing on the privacy, such as data tokenization, zero proof of knowledge, and all the data on the privacy projects. And
Right.
yeah, it's interesting. And these paradigms kind of work together at the same time, but they can be completely different from each other. That's how also Oasis plan to scale as well. So it's very interesting technology, kind of unique. Yeah.
Would you say, leaning on Oasis, would you say, are you going for like multi-chain launchpad, or are you really looking to basically incubate projects that are willing to launch on Oasis, being basically, I think, the only Oasis launchpad right now? So
Yes,
basically
correct.
niching down on that market, or are you willing to also take other parts of the market?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, we are the only Launchpad building right now, and we will aim to capitalize on the Oasis only, at least in the beginning. And we believe
Right.
that is enough because they have 200 million fund, the grant, and yeah, it's coming from Binance Coinbase. And the last application for the grant had more than 200 applicants, and 15 were successful. And
Okay.
the successful applicants are really interesting projects like real estate marketplace, privacy-enabled NFTs, data tokenization, healthcare data. It's lots of interesting projects coming in, and also in touch with the Oasis team. And I heard there's many more to come. So I believe we will have enough in the pipeline, especially being the only launchpad, at least for now. Yeah.
Right, right, exactly. Yeah. Was there any outreach? Well, let me start with a more simple question for you. In terms of the Oasis team, how is the support that they give you? Because we spoke, for example, with Hypercent. They are building on Kadena, which is like a little bit more matured than Oasis at this point, but they already have some competitors while they still need to launch projects, right? No projects have been incubated yet, but they get a lot of support from Kadena. How does that work with Oasis?
Yeah, so Oasis is being kind of a bit cautious when it comes to this. What they want is, before they give support, they want the platform to have full audit. So we did talk to them. We had 2 video calls, and they promised that once our smart contract's ready, they will do the audit, and then we can talk about the partnership and full support.
That's fair, no?
Yeah. Yeah, yes, because if there's no audit, maybe there's a rock ball, and then the whole
Yeah.
reputation of Oasis is damaged. So yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely. What would you think would be your position if you would get the official branded partner license of Oasis as being the first pad? Because as you said, the blockchain is quite new, relatively, right? There has to be like an experimental phase. Would you look at selective projects, or are you going to go for like a more quantitative approach? What do you think?
Yeah, it's a good question. I watched the video of Firestarter. They are more selective, and I don't like this quantitative approach that is like a project every second day, like Comunitas, I believe. I think we'll try to find like a middle ground. We do want to have the team verified before we even think about investing.
Right.
We want the new projects launching Oasis to have Oasis support as well.
Okay.
And
Is that like a requirement?
myself, uh, for now, yes, we're looking only at those that
Okay.
actually accepted for the Oasis grant, because there's quite a few of them. So we are contacting them and doing research of these projects. So for now, it's kind of selective, but we are still open-minded. But like I said, we want to talk to each of the projects, at least on voice. And myself, I like to do the research and see if the token has the real utility and not just pay for the fees,
Yeah, I mean, like we always know, like raising money, different aspects. Is it actually going to turn out to be something, right? At the end of the day, in regards when you say, because we had like obviously we have talks with Launchpads all the time, and what I always think is an interesting point of view is you with your team, or maybe you by yourself. Would you guys take, for example, strategic while the Launchpad takes public, or would you not prefer to do things like that? Or do you think it's like a good thing? So incubating like further into the rounds, or is that something you guys don't do?
Yeah, when we approach the projects, we always ask which stage they are in, and if they are also in need of other fundraising than public, like the from VCs, the seed or strategic. And we are open-minded to that because we have quite a few connections with VCs. And if we personally talk to the project on video and we like it, we like the idea, and we have the nice pitch deck, then we are openly willing to send to our VC connections if the project wants to also raise the money on seed and strategic.
Right. So in that case, you call me, yeah? If you, yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
sure.
Right,
Yeah.
fair enough. Because I think it's interesting when like these opportunities, they come to you first, right? And they might be great opportunities, but a lot of the public audience will never see it. For the Rosepad Launchpad, would you say you are going to focus on public, or would you also offer private, perhaps?
I think more like a hybrid. I mean,
Yeah.
we for now focus to get as many idols in the pipeline as we can, the quality ones. And meanwhile, also, I mean, like I said, if they want to raise funds beyond public, then we are open to it. But in that case, it needs to be a more a higher quality project as well.
Right. Would you, well, basic implementation questions, is there any KYC, anything like that, or is that still open on Oasis?
Yeah, so the quality project is usually incorporated. So we also ask for the company name, for the proof of address, the real names as well, and have a video call. So this is kind of also, you could say, KYC.
Yeah,
and
so you would dox
yeah.
the team, but would you also dox the investors on like a real KYC for your PAD users?
Oh,
For the
the
Launchpad?
users.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes. We plan to have KYC system. Yes, we
And
have a
what?
couple of partners that we're looking into which ones to incorporate inside our platform. Yeah.
Why would you think that Launchpads would not apply KYC? Because like half of the Launchpads do, half of the Launchpads don't. Why do you think that
I
is?
think it's for the safety of user and the Launchpad owners, because we are getting incorporated, and I mean, things happen. Maybe we launch a rug and then people complain and maybe get lawsuits. I think it's important to adhere to this to the legal process as well.
Sure, that's fair. Where's the team from? You have like an international team, or is there like a headquarters somewhere?
Yes, we are international team. We always meet on the Zoom or Google Teams. The developer is from Canada.
Oh,
The second co-founder is from Philippines, Dennis, and I'm personally now in Spain. So all over the world,
Yeah,
which is also good.
Yeah. Well, basically, with that setup, you cover all the time zones.
Yeah, exactly,
Philippines,
exactly.
Spain, Canada.
That's what I was gonna say. Like
That's
literally
nice.
always
24/7 support. No, I think it's great. It's so early stage, right? And that's basically what I tell the audience, and what I try to preach on YouTube. It's like a risk versus reward ratio. When you're early on a Launchpad, you have the potentially highest risk, right? Because we need to trust the team. You're here, you're showing your face, you're confident with your answers. I like it, right? Oasis is quite new. It's a big opportunity, but it also carries the risk. And I like personally, if I would just talk for myself, as I cannot speak with other people, I always like to invest so early that you might have to wait 6 months, but the opportunity is just so big. And you must know, because the VC game is kind of like it. If you would invest into Seedify at this point, right, as one of the bigger launchpads, DAOmaker, I mean, you get access to a lot of good projects, yet the allocations are really small. In the bearish market, they still struggle. right? And in a bull market, nobody can afford them, basically, right? The high tiers. So that might be an interesting question to move on to. What about the tiers? Because that's obviously always a struggle, right? You can never create the perfect tier system. But according to you, what have you implemented, or what are you trying to implement to maybe balance that?
Yes. So for the tiers, I've been working on it for like a month, actually researching all the other launchpads. I have a list of over 20 of them. Was reading on the tiers and get inspirations. And we came up with some more unique and hybrid systems. So we have basically 4 variables inside the tier mechanism. So I can walk through all the 4 variables. So the first one is the native token of the Launchpad, which is RPAD. So you stake the RPAD, which contributes towards the tier. And then second variable, you stake the LP of the liquidity provider token of the Launchpad, because we'll have a DEX as well inside the Launchpad on the launch already. Yes.
Okay.
Maybe I didn't mention. Yeah.
No. That's like a topic just flying in right now, but that's cool. That's cool.
Okay, talk about later, but yes, the second variable is the LP. Yeah. And then you log these for the time period. So up to 1 year, 365 days. So the time is another variable. The longer you lock, the more X RPAD you get. So the longer you lock RPAD and LP, and the more X RPAD you get. And the less time you lock, the less you get. And and then the fourth variable is NFTs. So when you get the X RPAD amount, the NFTs can boost them. Depends on how many you have in your wallet. So for example, and it's based on rarity as well. So for example, one common NFT will boost X RPAD amount by 2% if you lock it inside your wallet.
Yeah.
And then as the rarity goes up, the boost percentage goes up per NFT as well.
I'm all for the complex tiers, right? I love that shit. I love like economies, but it will be definitely difficult to implement and see how it goes. Maybe you go live and you have the best system, or maybe in 3 months you're like, oh fuck it, let me change the tiers. It will definitely be like an experiment. In terms of the DEX, right, with the whole liquidity tokens into play and everything, is there no DEX on Oasis right now?
There are 2 DEXes that are official, so we have DEXes, yes.
So why would you push your own DEX? Is it just like another revenue stream, or is there like a direct synergy with the Launchpad perhaps?
Well, one reason is to have a trading platform inside the Launchpad, so the new projects can immediately list on our platform instead of we going to the partners asking if they can list it.
Makes sense.
Also we can talk about providing liquidity as well using our token. And the third reason is I don't want to be too harsh, but the other 2 DEXes, at least the main official one, Yuzu, is not very well perceived by community because the design is not so good. And I believe we can do better. We have a professional design that we hired the team, and yeah, I think why not? You know, there can be many DEXes for Oasis. Yeah.
How does I mean, more DEXes, that's fine. I just like oils from a business point of view, you know. But I think the providing the liquidity as like would make you as a marketing partner more attractive. So if they would sign with you relative over to Launchpad competitors that might come up, I think that's a smart move. How do you think in terms of percentages, right? Your revenue, perhaps, because the DEX, it makes money, right? If there's like tradable stuff, I don't know, you take like a market maker fee or whatever. What would be more profitable, the Launchpad or the DEX, like on scale? What do you reckon?
Well, in beginning, we plan to have 0.25% for the DEX, and 100% of the fees goes back to buy back RPAD token and sweep the flow of NFTs. But when it comes to which collects more fees, I believe DEX would be the answer because the trading is every day, and idle launching is
makes sense. That's a good answer. What's the reasoning behind buybacks? Because I'm always mad skeptical on the buybacks. Why would you buy back your own token?
I think it's a good idea to do in the beginning. We plan to do the first 3 months because it takes time for the project to take off. and the beginning API is usually also higher.
Okay, fair.
Yeah, so before we build a reputation by launching good idle projects, it will take some time, and I think the buybacks will support the price of the RPAD.
Let me explain my analogy, okay? So users have your token. Yes, they stake it. APY creates well, linear downward trend, right? More supply, same demand, price goes down.
Yeah.
Now you're going to do buybacks, which is basically artificial manipulation of the price, because if you would buy more, then the price goes up, right? That's basically how it goes. Would you, from a business point of view, because we're transparent here, right? If you don't want to talk about it, that's fine. But we appreciate it because we like to do the research just like you. Would you only buy back the API difference? So basically trying to kill the inflation and kill the deflation on both ends, trying to keep the price stable? Or would you actually be willing to buy back more just to give initial token holders benefits of your profits from the DEX, for example? Does that make sense?
We would just buy back the fees we collect. I mean, we promised to use 100% of the fees to buy back the first 3 months. So we would just do that independently of the price. And
okay.
The RPAD we buy back, we can also in the future put it back inside the API pool as well.
Yeah. Okay. So infinite loop potentially. But yeah, or you could use it for liquidity, right? Yeah, could you perhaps, exactly. Because we don't talk about DEXes too much, but I think it's interesting. What is the benefit of having more liquidity on a launch, for example? So when a project launches, let's say they put 50K liquidity compared to 500K. For all the people watching right now, I think it's interesting for their general knowledge to understand what happens with the price stability.
Yeah, so when we launch, we plan to have a circulating supply that is worth about 135,000K, the circulating supply. So obviously putting 500K for liquidity will make no sense because that will be higher than market cap.
Yeah.
But but if we plan to put around 50K in the beginning, so I mean, this would just support the price because the DEX has like a swap. So you swap against the liquidity. So yeah, so it's you can have a bigger orders for the swap, and that will not have as high price impact because of your liquidity provider. Yeah, it's just it's.
So if you would provide only, so it's 135K initial market cap. If you would provide only $500, the price impact would be likely like 98%. Yes, and basically it would fuck up the entire trading process on the DEX.
Yes, exactly. So if someone sells and then there's no liquidity, it goes down very much, and then people see it, and then that's really bad, damaging.
Yeah,
especially
panic.
Yeah.
All out panic, basically. All right, that makes sense. When you spoke about, because now you're speaking with initial market cap on the launch, and previously you would be referring to your token. Are there two tokens, or am I not following something specifically?
No, it's only one token. RPAD.
And when will the token launch?
When the platform launches, end of May, potentially.
Okay.
Maybe you got confused for XRPAD. It's just for the tiers. Yeah.
Oh, perhaps. And the XRPAD, is it times RPAD?
Yeah, you know what? We plan to publish the Medium article on this mechanism of the tiers by the end of the week, and I also have already the Excel sheet that you input every variable, and then you get the outcome of XRPAD and your tier. So,
but the XRPAD is like a symbolic token. It's not an actual token.
No, it's not an actual token you can trade. It's just how to say, like
a point system.
Like a points. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. We love point systems at Digitsclub. The person who invented points is the best. It's simple. It's a good overview, and only geniuses think like that. When you speak about your token, right? Have you closed your seed?
Yeah, our private is closed, fully subscribed, and the strategic is still open. And we have 6 VCs invested, 3 announced. We're talking to
which ones have you announced?
Yeah, we announced Odiana Ventures.
Ooh.
Yeah, Cogitant.
Okay, I don't know those.
Actually, many people don't know, but the team very accomplished. Anyway, the third one is Crypto Playboy, the Australian YouTube.
Oh yeah, I saw them. I saw them. Crypto Playboy. I saw it come by yesterday, I think, and I was like, well, that's a strange name, Crypto Playboy.
They're very entertaining for the YouTube videos. I like them.
Yeah. But Oriana is good. I mean, they have a strong marketing expertise as well. Looking at basically your steps, would you host your public sale yourself, I assume, or are you going to leverage other paths for that?
We will leverage our pads. The Audiana have connections to quite a few of them, and we want to reach as many other communities as we can outside Oasis. So we will do few of Launchpads, but also we plan to do IDOR or public sale on our platform as well. So like
fair enough.
will be like first IDOR.
Let me just scope then what kind of numbers we're talking about, because you said 135K initial market cap. How much circulating supply is on that?
The token price is 12 cents. So 1.15, 1,150,000.
Okay, but like for 135K market cap, is it like 1% circulating supply in the beginning, or how much?
Yeah, 1.1%, I believe.
Okay, so it gives you about a 10 million fully diluted value, right?
Yes, around that.
And how much money was raised to achieve that? Like 2.5?
Total raise?
Yeah, total raise for all the rounds. If let's say you would sell out all the rounds, what would the total raise look like?
Total raise is only 1.2, 1.3.
Ah, okay. Okay, fair enough.
Because we have a 35% of the tokens for the rewards and liquidity for the next like couple of years,
And I assume you didn't include the liquidity into the initial market cap, right?
No. Because
okay,
it will
good.
be locked.
Fair. That's fair. Okay, makes sense. Interesting. I mean, like you are right on time. That's what I like. If Launchpads, any project in general, are looking to do things. So you're basically. So let me just explain why I'm saying that, right? Because I'm always rambling. But most of the projects, they have planned their private sale. They have planned their IDO. They come on an AMA like this 1 week before their opportunity. Right, that's not enough time. We need to do research. We need to do due diligence, see the opportunities, see what can be done, like in terms of strategic alignment, all these things, content. And you're here like 4 weeks ahead of time. So definitely good things on that part. But I have some more difficult questions for you in terms of projects, right? Because I like Oasis in terms of, I don't know anything about Oasis, let me tell you that, but I like it in terms of, I like everything new, right? From what we've seen on the major blockchains, I'm a big investor in Firechain. We've seen what Kadena has done. I think that's interesting. I know they're nowhere similar, but for the Oasis, for your project, reach, right? Would you say that when you go live in, let's say end of May, right? 1st of June, first week of June, somewhere like this. How long do you think it would take until you can basically launch your first project? Are we talking like 3 months, 6 months, 9 months? What do you feel like?
I cannot say exact date because we are in talks with a couple projects, which is behind the scenes, and but I'm quite confident that there will be a project launching in July, which is a very exciting one on Oasis. So it's not 6 months. We're hoping it's not more than 1 month. And like I said, also we will launch IDO of our own RPAD token beginning, kind of like a platform testing, testing the waters.
Like a kickoff.
And the new paradigm cipher, that's privacy enabled paradigm, will be launching around later this year. And I think this paradigm will bring a lot of new projects to Oasis, because at this moment we only have one paradigm, which is EVM enabled. And the main interesting thing with that is to do DEX or we can do the Launchpad. But if you want some more sophisticated projects for the privacy enabled, then you need this sci-fi paradigm. And so I think a lot of projects will come in the third quarter. Yes.
And when you say privacy enabled, what does that exactly mean compared to, let's say, an Ethereum blockchain?
Yeah, so let's give example. For example, you have your Twitter data, and how do you prove that you socially engage on some scale to some project without revealing any of your Twitter data, username, nothing? So Oasis will enable to do that. For example, submit your Twitter data for analysis. AI will analyze it and give you a social engagement score based on some formula. And the project, and no one will see your actual Twitter data or your handle. So just one example.
Okay. So basically, would they encrypt that data as well? So even somebody at Oasis wouldn't be able to consume the data?
Yes, it's encrypted at the hardware level, the way I read.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know how that works, but it sounds cool.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a developer, but I read it's encrypted on the hardware level, like Intel GSX or something. Yeah. Yeah, but I also read that there will be projects that have like privacy enabled stablecoin, or the DEX that, for example, hides all the orders, so there's no front running. You know, front running in the DEX.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. That I'm all too familiar with when I'm trying to sell my tokens.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Well, I think like these type of solutions, they're more you know, build and improve the current ecosystem. So as I understand, they're not really trying to pioneer something. It's more like solving issues that everybody's well aware, but it's maybe a little bit too niche down to explore as like a major project. So they're basically covering that aspect and basically taking care of that entire market segment. Because I can imagine that, for example, if there would ever become a point where governments would basically legislate, regulate the terms different, that they actually would accept that they no longer want to know everything about everybody, which I think they will always ultimately want. But they could partner with Oasis to at least get the data that they need in order to make their decisions, which I think is interesting, because then you have it covered. The question is, though, why would we not trust the government but would trust Oasis? Because it's a smart contract, maybe.
Yes, it's a smart contract on blockchain, and it's encrypted on the hardware level. But also, it's important that Oasis have strong backers, which they do. They've been listed on Coinbase just a couple days ago. Yeah, and they also have a partnership with Meta AI, Facebook.
Me no likey. No. I mean, it's a big name,
but think about
I want to hear the big names all except that name.
but think about it. People don't like Meta AI because of the privacy issues, data leakage, and you have this avatar on Metaverse, which is, you know, like zero privacy and no security. But maybe they're gonna use Oasis to fix that. So
that would be cool. Because I just read the report this morning about the quarterly earnings. It was like a $2.6 billion loss, right, for Meta, because they have no products, just like development, something like this. Crazy.
Oh, for the Oculus part of this lab, yeah.
It's definitely, but at least they're investing. Yeah. They see the opportunity, and the Oasis.
Like Mark said,
Sorry.
Like, I mean, Mark said himself that the only way to lose is by not taking risk, not investing. So they did that with Instagram. Now they're doing with Metaverse. I personally believe it'll work, but I'm a very rare person to believe that.
I think they will be patient because they have so much reserve, right? So they can push the adoption, but I think Facebook or Meta, as smart as they are, they will steal IDs, or they will basically accelerate IDs. They will wait until they see something that works, copy the same shit, and then just push billions behind it to develop it faster. Or partner. So for example, they partner with Oasis and then they acquire Oasis, something like this. They will just do an acquisition play because it's a corporate at the end of the day, right? But it's definitely interesting to see how they are, well, like you said, perhaps utilizing that privacy opportunity. And the question is, obviously, it all dripples down because that's like the top part, right? It's like Meta, Oasis, but Rosepad is at the bottom. So coming back to your original play, what about these NFTs? Because obviously, do these NFTs give guaranteed allocation, or is that like standard guaranteed allocation on the pad?
Yeah, it's a good question. So these NFTs, like I mentioned, will act as a booster for the RPAD amount, which goes to contribute towards the tiers. So if you have let's say 10,000 RPAD from staking RPAD and LP, and then you have NFTs that give 20% boost, and your RPAD amount becomes to 12,000. So that's one benefit. And the highest tier of the NFT will also have a guaranteed tier 3 without any staking. That's what we will have. The highest
without any
rarity.
Staking.
Yes, the highest rarity NFTs. Yes.
Okay, fair. And are these NFTs have been minted already, right? On
yes,
which chain?
Minted, yes. Oasis, yes.
On Oasis, okay.
Yes. So that's also the way.
Then you need to help us a little bit.
Yeah.
Because where would be a marketplace to buy Oasis NFTs?
Yes, Oasis have own marketplace, which is MetaMirror. It's quite active. They have millions of volume, well, for the new chain anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, in MetaMirror, and as well we listed on Tofu NFT. That's
Tofu NFT. I do know. Yeah.
Tofu,
okay.
Yeah.
All right. And what was like? Because obviously you need to give us some insider knowledge right now, because I need to tell Herman to make some plays then. What is, do you know the rarity price, the highest rarity right now on the marketplace?
Yes, we have a rarity in the marketplace. If you go to MetaMirror, there is a rarity score. So when there's NFT, it's on the bottom left, you press more, and it says what's the rarity score. And we have on Discord the rarity table, like the thresholds.
Okay.
Like we have
but
common.
Do you have
rare,
any idea what it would cost in like the US dollar amount?
Yeah, now you can. The cheapest is I think 90 euros, which is
$90. I'm gonna buy 10 of the.
No, 90 euros.
Oh, okay.
Like $20. So it's quite cheap.
$20. And how many NFTs are there? I'll buy like 800 of them.
It's 1,800 the total supply.
Okay.
But we've been sweeping the floor, so I think we have now maybe 100 in our own wallets because we've been sweeping the floor. But
yeah, I mean, like if they're only $20, I mean, I'll likely pick up at least 5 just to sit on them. And then once you go live, I mean, it's the advantage, right? We're here, we're early, we're listening, we're participating, and that's like the content we like, you know. It's mine. The 1,800 NFTs in circulation. I mean, somebody has to buy them, right? And if you're this early, yeah, why not hop on if it's interesting? Because that would also mean that Herman, are you here? Can you speak? Because let me ask him something.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm here.
So I think it's a good idea if we buy $2,000 worth of these NFTs and then we list them on Digitsclub for our community. Is that a good idea?
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah. Okay. I have obviously no time to check out the marketplace and stuff, but then I will give that job to you.
Sure. I'll figure it out together with Iva.
Okay.
Yeah. Before we do that, you can also wait for the Medium article end of the week where we have the mechanisms.
Yeah. That would be helpful because otherwise we might buy the wrong ones.
Yeah.
No, but I think it's interesting because these NFT plays, they come back more and more, right? We definitely see that the token alone is that system, you know, you want to basically give an advantage to the people that are either early, right, or the big guys, right? There has to be some leverage there. Perhaps an interesting question that we usually ask as well is how is basically the fair share distribution of the allocation? So let's say you raise $100,000 for a project. how would you guarantee that both the small users and the large users get like an equal portion according to the race?
Well, they get equal portion according to the tiers. We have the tier system like published already on the Medium, and there's 5 tiers. The requirements start very low. The first tier is 200 XRPAD, which is like $25, very small, and then goes to 2,000, then goes 10,000, 50,000, and 100,000. And each tier we put a pool weight. So the higher the tier, the more pool weight it gets for the idle allocation. Yeah, it's.
And what would be like the lowest entry? So for, let's say, is that like, it obviously depends on the token price, right? But would it be like, because we see Launchpads that only require like 2 tokens to be staked, like ridiculously low amounts. Other platforms requiring like their lowest amount to be like 1,000 tokens, like quite a difference.
So yeah, the tier 1 is 200 tokens basically.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
it's like not everybody can participate, but well, we assume that the token will go to $1, right? Quickly. This is like taking that into consideration. But
if you buy early, it's only $20. Later, maybe 200.
I mean, that's definitely doable, I think. And you have any idea on the highest tier already? What that would look like 4,000, 6,000, something like this, dollars?
Yeah, the highest tier is 100,000 tokens. Yeah.
So that would be like $12,000.
Yes.
Okay.
But then if you use NFTs to boost, and then also the LP will provide some bonus as well, because we want people to provide liquidity. So it could be a little bit less than that. And when it comes to allocation, it depends on how many participants, users there are in each tier, in the total tiers.
And the race. It's hard to say, do you have anything in mind what the average range would be? Because we see some Launchpad that literally only focus on 50K or less. Some are like 100K. Some are saying like up to 200K. And then you have obviously the big ones doing up to 1 million. You have any vision on that in the beginning?
I think a sweet spot is maybe 100K, but it really depends how many users we have. So we'll try not to overshoot, If we say we want 200K and promise the project we could get it, and then we have only a few hundred users, then maybe it will not work, So it will depend how well we're doing with the growth. Yeah.
So it's basically all the pressure is on you in that case.
Yeah, exactly. On our marketing team.
Fair enough. We have a question here in regards to the NFTs. You mentioned something about the explainer on the NFTs. Is it live yet, or would that go live later this week?
Yes, later this week we'll have an article on the mechanisms and the Excel sheet where you can input what kind of rarity you have and how many you're going to stake and get the output amount in XRPAD and the tier, and as well as the whole article with some figures to make it easier to read. Yes.
Makes sense. Okay, so what I will do is I'll make sure that I get those assets, and then for everybody in our Discord, I will push the explanation on which apes to look for and what the prices are and everything. I'll make a little bit of a write-up. I think that's quite interesting, and that will answer all of the questions as well. That's good. All right, perfect. I think you were strong today. You have answered all my questions. I don't think I have anything remaining. Obviously, I'm quite interested to see how the launch will go of the token and if there's any opportunities obviously there. But it's still 4 weeks. Well, 4 weeks is a long time. I'm sure we'll talk again in the meantime to see what the opportunities are in general, right? Because there will be quite a build-up and quite a lot of work until that moment.
Yes, we are quite ambitious ourselves, and if we raise the cap, then we also have lots of things planned for the future, like NFT marketplace, and I personally want to expand the DEX to have like an integrated graph, integrated bridge, and maybe in the future limit orders if Oasis support the off-chain orders. So yeah, we'll keep working on this project, and as long as we work hard, I think we'll succeed.
Step by step. right? Specifically in the bearish market, there's no need to rush it. But
yeah.
Thank you so much for being here today. I appreciate your transparency. Your answers were very clear. No long stories. That's usually what we appreciate. Very much to the point. I like that. So definitely would like to see you again in the future. If you have more updates, feel free to let us know. Definitely looking forward to your token sale. And the best of luck to you.
Okay, thank you, Colin, for having me here. And
Very
it was
welcome.
nice to speak to you.
Thank you so much. Have a good day, yeah? All right. Cheers.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.